Well, this is a good day. That's yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We want to take this afternoon to take a moment to honor a very valuable person in our community, a leader, a progressive thinker, someone who's made a difference in many, many, many lives today. So we have Judge Manley here, and we actually have a letter I want Ellie to read to you in appreciation for your work. And so I'm going to ask Ellie to do that, Your Honor.
Honorable Judge Manley, the Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribes would like to take this opportunity to express our appreciation and gratitude for all of the hard work and efforts that you have provided to our community to combat dependency in our greater community. In 2017, Judge Manley established the 20th Judicial District Drug Court. Early on in Judge Manley's judgeship, he saw methamphetamine felony cases go from around 230 cases to 450 within a year. It was then that Judge Manley realized something had to be done because we are losing a generation of people in our communities due to drug and alcohol use, and the cost was phenomenal. The judge also recognized the importance of incorporating tribal culture into the policy, and we currently have 4 tribally affiliated office coordinators. Judge Manley started the drug court with a $60,000 donation and 1 paid employee, the drug court coordinator. Volunteers included representatives from the following: prosecution, defense, probation, law enforcement, compliance monitoring, licensed clinical addiction counseling, tribal representatives, Kent Duckworth, and SKC interns. Meetings were held every week for a year, writing the grant and establishing the policy and procedures that would govern the drug court. You traveled to observe other Montana drug courts, and one assignment the judge gave the rest of the team was to read the book, Chasing the Scream. It was based on how the US and other countries were dealing with their meth and drug addiction issues in their societies. Judge Manley knew that you can't lock the addiction out of an addict. One thing Jim wanted to make sure of was that this treatment court would not be a shame-based court. Every Thursday, Judge Manley reminds the participants of the 3 basic rules of drug court. 1, show up. 2, be honest. And 3, try your hardest. Since 2017, there have been 47 graduates, and of them, 36 are tribally affiliated. The drug court program participants served are 76% tribal. Out of the graduates, 70%, 33, are still doing good and being productive within the community. The 20th Judicial Drug Court is the only one with access to sober living for men and women. Judge Manley's court treats the addict holistically. It helps participants physically, mentally, educationally, and also assists with the development and/or improvement of employment and job skills. A newly developed Phase 5 will focus on maintenance and recovery while also helping others to get sober. This helps to ensure that participants will always have access to tools that they can use on their journey in recovery. These participants are productive members of the community, volunteering extensively, practicing their culture, and being examples for their children in breaking the cycle of addiction. For that, we are truly grateful and thankful for your service to the community. We are sincerely saddened to see you go, but so grateful for all that you have done. Respectfully, Confederated Salish and Kootenai Tribes.
Thank you, Ellie. Your Honor, I would like to ask my colleague Carol to say a few words. Then we have a couple other folks that want to speak, and then we want to honor you with some gifts. Carol?
Thank you, Tom. I thought I was going to write something, but you know what? I just want to speak from the heart today, Judge, because you have done so much for so many people. there's so many children's lives have been changed because their parents are now sober. Those children are now back with their families. And I guess the biggest step in everybody's life that has improved is just as a community. Look at us all. We all join together in everything we do to try to make things better for our community. And it's all because of what you did. You brought us all together and made us understand that shaming people doesn't do anybody any good. You've built every one of these people in this room up, and their children are all doing well. And I think that's the main thing is changing lives for future generations. Because if we don't change it, we're not going to be here anymore. And so everything that you've done has just been a huge and tremendous asset for all of us, and especially us as a tribe. And so I just want to thank you. And I can't believe I'm not bawling right now, because normally that's how it all works. We're both the same way, but anyway, I just want you to know, and I want to give a couple of people an opportunity to speak because of what they have experienced and the changes in their lives. And I want to start with Dana. Do you want to go ahead, Dana?
I guess I just want to thank you. Growing up on the reservation, you know, and being a tribal member caught up in that county system is hard. It's when I was going through it, there was no drug court. This was, you know, before it started, so it was a little bit difficult, but you took a chance on me then, just like you did when I stepped into this coordinator role, and I would thank you for that. And just to see and work with you and see like the differences in the way that you do treat tribal members, and like how open you are to taking them in, and how receptive they are to the way you do things. Like, I don't think you understand that there's a connection there, and it's really powerful, and it's pretty important for the people that we serve. And I just like to thank you again. It's been an honor working with you.
Shay Ashley.
Hi, I'm Shay. I'm a recovering addict, and I just wanted to say thank you to Judge Manley. If it wasn't for his program and allowing me to be a part of drug court, I wouldn't have made it out of where I was going as a person in society. You know, because of drug court and the family and everybody that was a part of my recovery, and the chances that I got to better myself, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I get to own my own business with my best friend because of Judge Manley and the team. I'm a outreach specialist for Never Alone Recovery Support Services, and I get to give back to the community and help the addict that's still suffering because of this opportunity. And I want to thank you and congratulations, and we're going to miss you.
Jay Blue.
Judge Manley, you gave me a chance of life to turn it around. Back in 2014, I was looking at some good time. You gave me a shot. You told me a lot of people didn't believe you. I have a chance to do a program. I didn't know it was going to be this drug court that you had going on. You sent me to Billings for 1.5 years for my sentence. And 5 months after I moved there, I started working for the treatment center there. I came back and you kept your word. If it wasn't for you to give me that chance of life, I don't know where I'd be right now. I come back to a supervisor, to a boat inspection job. Look where I'm at now, working right here in the building right now. If it wasn't for you, I don't think I could have done it. You gave me a chance of life. I want to thank you. I'm going to miss you. You did a lot of work. Thank you.
Matt, he also has a song, honor song.
Good afternoon, everybody. Judge, I just want to tell you again, when I first walked in the courtroom, judge looked at me and he said, so everybody's saying that you have a pride problem or something to that effect. And he's wanting to know if it was true. And then he asked one of the other seasoned participants, he said, do you have any advice for Pat here to on his approach to drug court? And old Dan Beeve said, yeah, your ego is not your amigo. And I just want to give a little bit of the history. You know, what I noticed viewing, you know, the judicial system over the years is that it was not always friendly to our tribal people, and things that I noticed about systemic racism and about how our tribal people were often overrepresented in the jails, in the treatments, in prison. And oftentimes when we don't have representation, when we can't afford representation, we're at the mercy of the courts. And oftentimes the courts weren't merciful. But then you came along. And I firmly believe that Quillen Sutton, our creator God, we didn't have an advocate in the courts. He gave us one in you. And as the stats show, that we are well represented in the drug court, and we are given chances. And each and every one of us who have participated and have graduated firmly understand the type of choice, the type of chance that we've been given. And we thank you for that. We give you many lemlemches and many husukit kuknis for what you've done for our people and what you've provided and how you've staffed it with our Native brothers and sisters. And so at this time, I'd like to honor you with this song. This song, it's been said, has been given to us, the Salish and Pondere people, by the Sioux. And so we use it as our flag song. And so we salute the flag with it. And today, I want to salute you with it. Judge Manley, please stand.
Pat and Dan, thank you for this song. We have this to give you too. Judge Manley, this is a Distinguished Service Award presented by the Confederation Kootenai Tribes, given to the Honorable James Manley, 20th Judicial District Drug Court. Thank you for your dedication to the Lake County Drug Court and for your unwavering commitment to improve the well-being of our entire community.
The gloves, I hope, are not made in China. No. No, when we seen the gloves coming around at the graduation for the inclusive students, we thought, you know what, that would be a nice gift for Judge Manley. So now I would like to have him put them on and see if they belong to him or his wife. They're moose leather. I guess that's the proper term. And if you need to, you can get them a little wet and stretch them, and they will, is what I was told by Stephen Small Salmon. They and see, they are good for working. They will last you forever. Yes.
Thank you. I love your heart.
Small hands, but a huge heart.
There you go.
Thank you for being so
Well.
inclusive. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Bob Long came up to me a few days ago and said, "Hey, are you going to be down there at 2:00 at the tribal complex for that award?" So I was supposed to pretend to be surprised when I came in, but I'm kind of glad I knew about it, because I've got 2 or 3 hours left in my career, and and it kind of started here. When I came in 1979, I didn't have any business, and I got to know, you had 2 judges, Donnie Dupuy and Louise Burke. I got to know them. You had 1 tribal attorney, Evelyn Stevenson. And so I used to practice and try a lot of jury trials over in that little courtroom across the way. And I remember an old attorney, and I was involved in some controversial thing representing a tribal member against the state. And an old attorney in Polson came up and said, "You know, you have to be careful. If you keep representing tribal members, you're going to get a bad reputation." And look at where we've all come. But Donnie Dupuy and Louise Burke and Joey Newman and Rosemary Fiorentino, Joe Moran, those were all judges back then. And I appeared in front of all of them, and I think I represented all of them or their family on something or other. And I became very close. So in a way, ending it here is kind of closing a circle for me. But I get all this credit for drug court, but you folks who are involved in it, you know that it's a team effort and it's a family. It's a community that we've formed. And Councilman Langford has been there since day one, literally. We had a little group of people that were meeting in this little office I had. When I came to the tribe 6 years ago, I didn't know what to do. I was coming for wisdom and for help, because we had an addiction problem. 92% of the people I was sentencing were the crimes were addiction related. And I knew this wasn't working. And so I came here asking for help. And I was surprised afterwards. They said a state district court judge had never come here and done that before. But I was surprised because I'd never heard of a councilwoman just showing up saying, "I want on this team and I want to help. What can I do?" And she's been there ever since that time. And I say about her, she helps more people in a week than most people do in a lifetime. And that's true. But it's not only that, you know, Jay Brewer started it and Dana, and they took it to another level. But most of all, the most important thing, and for me, the most fulfilling thing in 44 years was getting to know all of you. And you're the ones who did the hard work. The tribe answered the call. Our drug court is the only one that has a women's sober living center and a men's sober living center that we can get people to after they come out of treatment. And that's because of the tribes. The recovery center that's now in the forestry complex, the tribes are letting, that started with 5 people in a little storefront on Main Street in Ronan when Don Roberts started doing that. And now it's 300 people. And you have helped each other more than anything that we've done. And those of you who've been in drug court, you know that. They came together and formed a family, and what became important to them was what each other thought, and they were always there to help each other. So I get the award, I get the gloves. Sorry, Julia. I get the gloves, but it's really a gift to all of you. And I really believe what you do in drug court is the hardest thing a human being can do, because you not only have to get past addiction, you have to change your life. You have to deal with multi-generational trauma. You have to get educated or job skills. You have to set boundaries, you know, lifetime friends and family. You just can't do some things with them. And I think it's the hardest thing that you can do. And I have more respect for those of you who've done it and run the gauntlet, and you're still here. So it's really, I think, an award that you deserve. Flash. We call her Flash Matt because she showed extraordinary speed on the base pass when they had a softball game. And so thank you. This is humbling, and in a way, I'm kind of glad that I get to finish here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Well, we have some cake to celebrate your retirement, and I think everybody wants to talk to you and shake your hand and say, great job. So. Oh, yeah. Anybody want a picture? $5. Will you take a picture with the council?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Is it on? What was your name again? I would like to also introduce Greg. Greg is a longtime friend of Judge Manley's, and I would like to give him an opportunity and the other gentleman that came with him to talk.
Thank you. Actually, Tom and Judge Manley go clear back to high school. But I just wanted to tell you, you see Judge Manley in this world here. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about how he's seen around the rest of Montana. Because, you know, some attorneys can get wealthy representing banks and insurance companies and manufacturers. You know that he would never be able to do that. And so he made his practice representing people. And he represented people who were injured, people who were wronged by insurance companies, wronged by banks, and that kind of stuff. And he didn't get rich doing it, but he was one hell of a fine lawyer. And he's developed an incredible reputation all across Montana, been very active in the organization that represents injured people. And we were so proud to see him go on the bench, even though it meant the loss of a really good plaintiff's attorney in practice. But he's as much as you love him, we've always known the same thing. We've loved him equally. But I'll let Tom say a few words about him. Jim always says I give too long of speeches. Well, I don't necessarily buy into that, but let me tell you, Jim and I go back to high school, and we've been the closest of friends since high school. And we have tried many a case together. We've traveled all over the country taking depositions. But, you know, I think it goes back to our roots. Both Jim and I grew up from kind of poor families. We grew up what I like to say the wrong side of the tracks. And just like you folks are all making something of yourselves, and you've been given an opportunity with Jim as your leader, but he's 100% right. You guys are what makes it. And having Jim, who I got to tell you has been there, and he cares so much about the people, about you, but you're just part of who he cares about. I mean, Jim has been a caring individual all of his life. And so what a finale for him to have been part of this accomplishment with you folks, because he's told me many times that this is the best thing, the best thing that's ever happened to him in his life. And you inspire him just as maybe he inspires you. Greg and I are so glad that we were invited to come here. So thank you very much.
I worked with Jim in the 80s also. Thank you, Jim. Over here.
think, Mark, we could come into regular session and go through the items that we need action on. Yeah. Otherwise, I might forget what I was thinking. We'll come back into regular open session, and we have some parcels to show interest or disinterest in, and a couple of leases, vendor leases, and other items that were presented earlier. Go ahead, Mark.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair and council. So I did bring in a little bit of, I needed one thing on clarification on the property that was viewed on North Pablo here on Thursday. I need to get a clarification on what would you like tribal lands to be doing next on?
I think based on the field trip, we wanted to review it, show interest in that parcel since it's in trust. If that's,
Pending the appraisal.
yes,
Okay,
yep, the appraisal's off in Portland.
already?
But the consensus of council? Yes. Since it's trust property.
Yes, so the former Donna Jones home in North Pablo, tribes to show interest.
Motion by Len to show interest in the Donna Jones parcel in West Pablo, seconded by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those support, show of hands. 8-4, 1 out of the room. Jennifer's out of the room.
Okay, next item up. Tribal land, allotment owners in 4215-C, 18.23 acres. We're requesting a letter of disinterest.
You said what was fresh in our memory and I can't remember this.
Okay.
This is the one on top
Yes.
by the canal, Polson.
This parcel's in trust. So either we show interest or we show disinterest. I would prefer to show interest in this parcel since it's in trust.
Mr. Chair, I'd make that motion.
Motion by Martin to show interest in the parcel. The Len second the motion. Any further discussion? Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to remind the council that our responsibility in trust situations is primarily to individual trust over tribal trust. And the tribal members are requesting the disinterest.
I think they're showing interest in selling the land and we are interested in buying it. That would meet the goal of both us and the tribal member, I would assume. Well, but we're interested. But as a governing body, we are interested in keeping the land as green as possible. And we would be, if we can, we would happy to meet their price if it's reasonable and prudent, and they could sell it to us. That would be what I would hope for. It would be a win-win. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion to show interest? Let's see, 8-4, 1 opposed. Mike opposed. Thank you.
The next motion up was for the Charlotte School District for an encroachment permit at a fee of $1. for 25-year with an option to renew.
Motion by Ellie to approve the 25-year lease for $1. Seconded by Bing. All those in favor? Unanimous?
Next motion up was for a road easement down in the Vandenberg area along Highway 200. This was presented once before. The first motion for this easement was denied. They did repetition for the request to have it. Tribal Lands would recommend to stick with the first motion that was already approved and to deny this request.
Go ahead, Mike.
If we don't take any action, that stands, right?
Correct.
Any desire to take action? Seeing none, I guess we're letting it stand.
The next motion up was for 1914B up in Polson to utilize the upper flat area off of the Highway 93. I believe it's on First Street for a food vendor court. Slash vendor court, sorry, food vendor and vendors court.
Motion by Len to approve the recommendation to utilize allotment
1914B
1914B for food court
and vendors.
and vendor court property. Second by Jimmy. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, show of hands. Unanimous.
The next motion up is to advertise the firework, the 5 lots that the tribals have offered for firework stands.
Motion by Ellie to approve the advertisement of the 5 lots for this season fireworks stands, seconded by Mike. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in support, show of hands. Or thumbs. There we go. Unanimous.
Right now, that is all we've went through on the land
Okay.
committee, but at this time I would request to go back into executive.
Okay, thank you. Keeping our memory fresh. So we'll go into executive session.